Yeah, if you're gonna be doing .NET development, you wanna be using Windows, not whatever you got over there, that thing with the Apple logo. You think you're better than everybody? Why do you always think you're better than me? Yeah, well, it's not only about speed, it's about developer ergonomics, okay? I got Visual Studio. What do you got? Hey, this is an Apple Silicon machine, and with .NET 6, this can run .NET Core natively. I can do .NET just like you can on my Mac. I've got tools, I've got Visual Studio Code, I've got the command line, I've got Visual Studio for Mac, but I got Visual Studio Code. Well, I tell you what, let's create a little challenge, okay? I'm gonna create a project on my Windows machine with Visual Studio, and you can try doing the same project on a Mac. Okay. And we'll see who's gonna finish first. No problem. What? I said no problem. I'm not wimping out. I want to do this. Yeah? You're gonna do this? Don't make those chicken sounds. I will do this project with you. We'll see. Consider this challenge accepted. All right, let's do it. All right, folks, you've heard it. We're gonna be doing a test on a Mac and on Windows, and we're gonna be developing an ASP.NET Core application with .NET 6, and it's a bug tracking application. I'll make the code available down below. There's gonna be a link. You can follow along. You can even get the whole code if you want. Thanks to Progress for sponsoring this video, and there's gonna be a raffle at the end of the video, a biggest raffle we've ever done on this channel, so stick around for that. Oh, and we've developed the same application in Angular, React, Vue, jQuery with TypeScript or JavaScript, ASP.NET Core and ASP.NET MVC, and ASP.NET Blazor. Whew. And stick around for the rules of the raffle. This should be a fun little challenge. Okay, I'm gonna start. By the way, it's just me, but you all know that. I'll just put the glasses away so they're not in my way. Okay, so I've done this before using this product, Telerix UI. And I've also done it, unfortunately, 12 years ago manually. I did one component, which was a tree view for the job I was doing at the time. Let me tell you, that was not fun to do. It took me probably a month to build out a JavaScript tree view. Yeah, imagine how much money that could save there. So I'm gonna kick things off with this repository, and I'll link to it down below. There's a branch that I made called YouTube Demo. I'll link to it. You can check it out later. So I've cloned this repository locally, and here's Visual Studio 2022. This is what that project looks like. And this project doesn't have any components in it or anything like that. It's just a bare bones project. Here, I'll run this and we can take a look. Okay, so there it is. We've got our filters, the data is coming in, everything is hooked up. And I'm gonna put the chart, the interactive chart, right down here in this area. But before we get into the chart, I wanna do the button, like just a regular button up here. Change it over to the Telerik UI button. Let's close that down. And I'm gonna go to the Telerik UI website. So that's just telerik.com. You can start off there, and then all products. Now they make all kinds of components for all these different frameworks and stuff. So the one I want is ASP.NET Core. If we go to demos over here, you'll see all the different components. I did the tree view back in the day, and that took me a month to do. Imagine doing all these components and having to build all this stuff. It's just insane. Here, I just put this into my project. You can start off a new project or use an existing project and then just drop it in. That's it. Now I have a little bit of an advantage here because I'm using Windows, and I think that's an advantage. We'll see how the other guy does, but I also have Visual Studio. And for installation of this package, you can just go to Docs and Support, well, Documentation. And there it is. This will give you all the docs of all the components and the installation steps. And here is the Windows installer. Now there's different ways to install this thing. You can manually configure Nougat. You can use an installer. There is a trial version of this that you can use. I think they give you maybe 14 days or a month, I'm not sure, but you get a while to play around with it. You can use npm. So there's a ton of different options. I'm gonna kick things off. I wanna try this because I've never done it this way before. I've always used a manual Nougat approach, but I wanna try an approach that I haven't done before because I think I have an advantage anyway. So I'm gonna do the installer. My turn, huh? Okay, well, I'm starting to get the feeling that maybe I'm barking up the wrong tree here. Maybe I shouldn't have entered into this little debate because now that I'm sitting down in front of my Mac, I'm on the MacBook Air, by the way. This is the Apple Silicon version. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna clone this repository. So I've cloned it. I'm gonna open this up in VS Code. And VS Code detects that this is a C# project, I guess. Yeah. So it wants me to see if I can install it. I'm gonna go ahead and say yes. It added 2 files, launch configuration and a tasks file. Okay, so that builds it. Tasks is gonna give it the command to build the .NET project, and then the launch is gonna launch it hopefully in a debug mode so I can debug it. Oh, let me just make sure I'm on the right branch here. Source control, all right, git status. Okay, I'm on the YouTube demo branch. Good, good, good. Let's launch it. Let's just see if this thing works out of the box. Okay, it's building. Hey, that worked. That launched the app from VS Code. I'm pretty surprised. I'm pretty impressed. I guess I shouldn't be. A lot of work has been put into this, but wow, that's pretty cool. So 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. Yeah, this is the app and it's working from VS Code. Now I know a lot of you like Rider, and I've heard that before. I should use Rider. I've tried out Rider. I love it. It's pretty cool. But for this thing, I'm gonna use VS Code. So I'm gonna go and log into my Telerik account, and then let's go to downloads here, and I can go to ASP.NET Core, and here's the installer right here. So I'm gonna download that package. Let's run it. Okay, so I have Visual Studio 2019 and 22 installed on this machine. It's gonna do both of them. Let's go install. All right, it's installing. Let's see if this will give me the ability to update an existing project. Hopefully I'll be able to do that. By the way, this also installs the Visual Studio extensions, and you can get the extensions separately from the Visual Studio Marketplace. Here's an example of that. So you can just install the extension if you don't want the entire installation package. There's just different levels of installation steps that you can follow, all the way from manual to fully automated, and I'm trying the fully automated approach right now. Imagine if I had to write that from scratch again. No thanks. All right, so this thing installed. I'm gonna kick off the stopwatch right now, and let's see how long this takes me. All right, finish, and let's go. Okay, I don't know what that is, some kind of error, but I hope that installed fine. Let's start Visual Studio 2022. I'm gonna open up the project here. Okay, let's go to extensions, Telerik, there it is, ASP.NET Core, and I'm gonna select this project first. Let's see if I can convert this to a Telerik application. Okay, so it says convert project. Cool. We got ASP.NET Core. Yes. Create a backup. Don't create a backup. I'm pretty confident. Maybe I shouldn't be. I don't know. All right, so we got that going. I'm gonna kick off my timer, and yeah, let's get set up here. So I'm gonna start off with Telerik. Let's go to ASP.NET Core, Docs, and let's see how we can install this thing. Visual Studio Code integration. Okay, let's take a look at that. There's a template wizard for VS Code. Huh. Extensions tab in VS Code. I need to search for this extension. Okay, let's do that. I'm gonna go to VS Code. I'm gonna stop this, search for the extension. There it is, very cool. Let's install it. What does that let me do? Got some kind of error here. Could not find .NET Core runtime. It just ran. So what does this extension give us? Create a new project. Okay, I already have a project, so I don't need that. It's got code snippets. That's useful. I might need that. All right, I'm wasting time here. Let's, I just feel like really out of place here. Never done this before. I've never done .NET with VS Code. It's kind of new to me, so that's why it's a bit of a struggle. What do I do? Okay, let's go back to the docs. We got a command palette option. Let's check that out. Let's see. F1, Telerik, wizard launch. Okay, I'm gonna launch the wizard, loading templates, setting up runtime. There's an error down here, error acquiring .NET. That's probably related to this because, well, nothing is starting up. So now I have other options. There's a ton of options how I can go about doing this. I'm gonna restart VS Code to see if that helps first. I know I have .NET on here. Come on. I don't like to see errors popping up right away. Let's try that again. Template wizard. I think I'm gonna have to do this a different way. Installing with Nougat. Okay, now I'm not using Visual Studio. Maybe I should be. Visual Studio for Mac. Oh, okay, so I can create a new Nougat config file in the project. Let's try that. I'm gonna go back out to the terminal. .NET new Nougat config. There it is. Nougat config. Hey, look at that. I have a Nougat config file. Package source clear. There's a default Nougat feed. I'm gonna add a new one called Telerik. Okay. Value is gonna be HTTPS. Let's get the whole URL here. Ah, there it is. Look at that. Look at that. Copy that. Paste that in. Now, this is a private Nougat feed. That means you need to log into it. So I need to use my username and password. And I'm guessing that I'll just put in my package credentials in here so it doesn't ask me for it. Okay, so now we have to pick a theme. Basically, these components, you can theme them, so you can change the theme later. So I'm just gonna pick Bootstrap main, that's fine. Next, this goes right to left or left to right for those that speak Hebrew or Arabic if you're creating those kinds of applications. I'm just gonna leave all this and click next. Okay, so supposedly this is converting my application now automatically. I don't think the other guy's gonna be able to do that. I think he's gonna have to manually configure everything, including the Nougat feed. Well, let's see. Here's my project, and I do have this as a Git repo, right? So it's tracking all the changes that were made by this extension. We can have a look at that. Let's look at dependencies, packages, and there is a package that was added automatically to my project, and program was changed. Let's take a look at what it did. Okay, it added this. Builder services add Kendo. Interesting. Okay, that's the only thing it added there. Let's have a look at what changes were made. Oh, that's interesting. So it added all these editor templates into my shared pages folder as well. I guess these are going to be like when you have a grid and you want to have an editable grid, then these are the templates that it's going to use to basically make it an editable grid. Not something I want to use right now, but it's there if you need it. Layout was changed, added all this scripts that are necessary. And this is, by the way, coming from CDN. You can also have it come from a local place if you need it. View imports, we got a tag helper for MVC. That wasn't really changed, just some lines deleted, cleaning up, and program.cs was changed. Added razor pages, cool, okay, and added Kendo, interesting. And there's a Nougat config that was it added? I guess it was changed. Nougat config was changed, pointing to the packages. I guess I could have just done it here with git changes in Visual Studio without going to Visual Studio Code, but I like Visual Studio Code's git interface better. All right, I'm gonna run this to see if this even builds and works. Hey, okay, it works. So this is still looking the same, but at least now we have that capability to put stuff in here. So I'm gonna close everything just to keep things neat. And let's open up Pages, Dashboard. That's the dashboard page where we need to add the chart. Now we do have some buttons at the top. I want to see if Kendo buttons work at all even. Kendo button. Yeah, look at that. That's the tag helper. Visual Studio is recognizing it as a tag helper, making it purple. We need to give it a name property. Let's go button, date range 3 months as the text. Let's run this. Look at that. I have a button there. I'm 6.5 minutes in, and I already have a Kendo Telerik UI button there. I like it. That was pretty fast, I gotta say. That was way faster than doing the manual configuration and much easier too. But of course, if you want that hands-on control of everything, you might still want to do the manual configuration. So that's what the other guy is gonna do, I guess. I feel bad for him. Okay, now I do have a Telerik account. If you don't have one, you can set one up for a free trial or whatever. Clear text password. I hate doing this because now I have to put Nougat config into my git ignore so my password doesn't get stored with my project. Okay, I got my username and password in the Nougat config file. So, getting there. Okay, how do I install these things? There's no Mac documentation? Oh, all right. Maybe I already have it installed. Does it get installed with dotnet? Oh, okay. So when I install dotnet on my Mac, I guess it installs the Nougat CLI with it. Nice, which means I can issue this command. Where is that command? All right, so it's not here. I need to find manual installation. Configure project manually. Okay, here it is. Look at that. There it is. Can I just do that? Let's try it. I'm gonna copy the name of that package. That's the package I need for Telerik UI for ASP.NET Core. And I'm gonna say Nougat install that package name. Is it doing it? It's doing something. Come on, bird. I'm working here. Silly bird. Okay, so that should have changed my project, should have changed something, but right now, is it still working? It says it was installing the package, but it's attempting to gather the... Okay, now we're going. Thanks, Axel. Oh, it just created all these folders. Okay, organization-wise, that was a huge failure, but maybe I can still run this and maybe it'll still work somehow. Okay, the project still runs. Why did Nougat put all those 3,000 plus folders and files into the root? Don't ask me. I'm sure it was because of something I did, but let's get past that. I've installed the Telerik UI one. Here it is. Cool. Okay, close that wizard, close the terminal. Let's get back to business. Configuring the project manually, that's, I guess, what I'm doing right now. I've added the Nougat feed. The next step is add a reference to Kendo Ui Mvc Ui. Okay, so I need to go to my startup, copy this services.add Kendo, and add that to the services. Startup was, if you're using .NET 5 or earlier, you had a startup file, but this is .NET 6. No longer a startup file, you just have your program. That's the Kickstarter. Bootstrapper. Kickstarter. Okay, so here we have, instead of services.add Kendo, it's gonna be builder.services.add Kendo. It's not recognizing it, but let's see. There's no definition for add Kendo. All right, it's been 15.5 minutes. So I think I might have done the Nougat thing wrong. I think I probably need to go to the project and do it there. Maybe Nougat can determine where to install. Let's try that. Nougat install telerik.ui.for ASP.NET.Core. That's it. Okay. I'm gonna install that inside the project now. Let's see if that helps. This is the web project. So, what's it doing? I feel like it just added more stuff in here. Oh my God. If I have any hope left, I need to switch gears here. All right, now the next job to do is that chart, right? So I want to add that chart in. Let's do that. Where's that chart gonna go? Here. I already have the row for it using Bootstrap. So Kendo dash chart. Yeah. Give it a name. Let's just give it a name. Chart. And there we go. Now I have a chart. Of course, there's nothing there. Nothing's connected. You know what? I'm gonna cheat and I'm gonna go to the documentation. I'm gonna go to the demos. I want to grab a chart demo and just plug that in to see if it even works. Let's see, view source. Okay, so here they're using the HTML helpers, which you can still use with the ASP.NET Core. If that's your style, you can use HTML helpers. There's also the tag helper version, which is this right here. So tag helpers, in my opinion, look cleaner. They look like HTML elements. There you go, and you just have nested elements like that. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna copy this whole thing and pop it into my solution, to my project. Let's run this and see if this even shows up, shall we? Haha, look at that. I think at least one of these might change in the next year or so. Anyway, data might be a few years old anyway. So it is a few years old. I'm not getting on that topic right now. So here's a chart. You just plop it in there and we have a nice fully animated chart. That's pretty simple. I love that. Of course, I gotta hook up a chart to my own data. Luckily, I've already exposed the data back here in the dashboard model. So I already have all this data here. All I gotta do is just hook it up. And once I do that, I'll be done. It almost feels like I'm cheating right now, because I am. I'm actually I'm looking at the other screen where I already have the chart implemented. So anyway, we have the Kendo chart, and let's just format it a little bit here. And first I want the chart title to be different. I don't want it to be gross domestic product. So I'm gonna modify that to all issues, okay? That's the thing at the top of the chart. Chart legend position. This is where you want your key to be, basically. This is top. I don't want it to be on the top. I'm gonna change this to bottom. Nice little enum there for you. Series defaults. Basically for each set of data that you're gonna display in the chart, you can set some defaults. So I want mine to be a column chart. That's fine. Other options in here are area, bar, bubble chart, candlestick, column, donut, blah, blah, blah. There's a ton of them. So I'm just gonna do column. And this is a stack chart. So I'm gonna say stack enabled. Actually, that's a child element. So let's go with stack and let's turn it on. Okay, now for the series. These are the arrays or the pieces of data that we're gonna bind to. So there could be tons of different series. Here there were India, Russian Federation, Germany, and world. So in the series, you have series items. Now we have closed issues and open issues because this is an issue tracker. So the name here will be open, and the data will be bound in the model. Model items open by month. Cool. Let's do another series item. Copy and paste that one. This is gonna be name closed. The names have to be unique, by the way. And item closed by month. Okay, we don't have value axes, so I'm gonna delete that. We do have a category axis, and that's gonna be the dates at the bottom of the chart. Categories, instead of being hard-coded in here, which you can do, I'm gonna bind these. Model.categories. Okay, and you can modify the look of these with the padding. I'm gonna skip that, and let's just do that real quick here. Okay, tooltip, you can do tooltips, but I'm not gonna do that right now. Let's take a look at what this looks like. Okay, look at that. We have a stacked chart. What do you know? Almost there. The dates kind of look weird. The theme is not what I want, but the title is there. The data is there. Let's see if sorting works. Yep, sorting is working. Not sorting, filtering. Filtering by months, that's working fine. Cool, almost there. So what's wrong with this? Well, we've got a couple of things to fix. Let's change the theme to SAS, because that's using the old less-based themes. I want to use SAS here, so it looks, it's got that modern look to it, flat. The bars are too far apart. I want to change that, so that's going to be under series defaults. I'm going to define a gap. So there's a ton of different options you can configure here. I'm just doing some of them just to show you the power of this. And I want my open and closed items to be different colors. So the color here for the open items, I want them to be visible and red, right? So let's go with hex value of CC 3458. And for the closed items, let's do like a greenish color, which is gonna be 35, C473. And I want them to be sort of transparent a little bit. So I'm gonna set the opacity here, 70%. Let's check it out. Look at that. That's pretty cool. What's going on down here? It's pretty ugly. Let's change that. Stop that, and under category axis, you can set the base unit. It's showing right now all the dates. That's the data. It has all the dates, but I want it to be months. So there's a enum for that. I'm gonna select months for that. And this is the moment of truth, folks. Oh, I messed something up. Yeah, those dates are not coming in right. Oh, of course, I have to tell this chart, the axis, that it's a type date, because right now it thinks it's a string. So it's gonna convert it to a date automatically, which is really cool. And by the way, if a date is missing, it's gonna automatically fill that in and chronologically sort the data by date. So I need to set the chart category axis type dot date. Moment of truth number 2. There we go. Look at these nice, beautifully formatted dates down here. And everything still works. We got a chart. Good to go. So we did one of the more complex components, and it took us 22 minutes from installation to having a chart on the screen. Of course, I cheated, but you know, don't tell the other guy. What I'm gonna do is go back here. I'm gonna undo all these changes thanks to Git, discard all the 6,000 new files. I'm gonna go and install Visual Studio for Mac. And I hear there's a new version out, 2022 preview. Gonna grab that. All right, so I've installed Visual Studio 2022 preview. There it is. I've had a previous version of Visual Studio for Mac, but that one is not gonna work with this project. I'm gonna open this project up in Visual Studio for Mac. I tried VS Code, I tried. Okay, so here it is, back to square one. I'm gonna play this, build it and run it to see if this works from Visual Studio for Mac. And it works. Okay, can we add a Nougat feed here now? I'm gonna right click on this, right click. There's no way to do it. Oh, there we go. Manage Nougat packages, great. Okay, package source is nougat.org. So we need to add Telerik's Nougat package source. Configure sources, okay. add, what is this tiny little window? Telerik, location, what? Why can't I add an online location, an HTTP location? Okay, oh, look at that. So I was trying to delete all these files that were created in the last step. It looks like the Nougat package was actually downloaded using Nougat CLI, so I think I'm saved. Add source, good. So I'm gonna select the package source to be Telerik, ASP.NET Core, add package. Accept the licensing, yes, I accept the licensing, good. Looks like that worked. Let's run this. Yes, it's still a mess, but I think I can get through this. Now under projects, okay, now under Nougat, I have the Nougat package there. Good, good, good. Let's go to program and builder.services.add Kendo. It's available. Nice. So we've got a bird, we've got a dog. It's fun working outside. Now, the next step is adding the tag helper into my view imports. Let's copy that. Now we're working in Visual Studio. And I guess now I can switch between VS Code and Visual Studio, but I'll just keep using Visual Studio. What a mess. Okay, shared. Oh, there's view imports. I'm gonna add helper, tag helper, and the import for MVC UI. Cool. Next step, tag helpers will allow me to use like HTML looking like elements like Kendo button. Now we need to go to layout and add these client-side dependencies, which are the CSS and the JavaScripts. So I'm gonna just copy all this, layout, and in the head, I'm gonna paste this in. So we've got Bootstrap, which I've already had. I don't need two of them. We've got the site CSS. We don't need two of them. Okay, and then we've got the CDN reference to the Bootstrap theme for Kendo. And then the jQuery reference from CDN. Then the Kendo all min, which is the CDN reference to the JavaScript. And then ASP.NET MVC is another JavaScript file that's necessary for this. Now the other guy probably didn't have to do this all manually, the guy working in Visual Studio for Windows. But this is basically what an installer would do on Windows automatically for you. I'm gonna remove this jQuery reference because we only need one of them. If you don't, you'll probably get an error. And let's run this to see if this works. Okay. Am I getting any errors? No console errors, that's good. Closes down. Okay, next step. Is there a next step? The next step is just adding a component. So let's go to buttons, try to add a button. So I'm gonna go to my dashboard page and here are the buttons. Button is like a good test to see if this even works. So we're gonna do a Kendo button. That's being recognized, very cool. Button, date range 3 months. Boom, let's run it. I got it working, folks. This works. All right, so we're at 26 minutes, a little longer than I wanted to take, but not bad, not bad. And we got a button, which means that now Telerik UI is in the project, it's working, and it's just a matter of getting the chart in there. So let's get the chart in there. I'm gonna cheat a little bit. Don't tell the other guy, but I'm gonna go into another repository here. This one. And this one already has basically a completed version of what I'm trying to do on the dashboard. So I'm gonna grab that. Okay, here's my Kendo chart, copy, and let's pop it down here. There we go. All right, the moment of truth. Let's try this. I'm gonna run this. Yes, it works. There's my interactive chart. Filters work. 1 year, 3 months, 1 year, 6 months. Okay, I know that was a little cheating, but 28 minutes. As a side note, I've noticed that even though this Visual Studio is not like as complete as the Visual Studio for Windows machine, .NET apps go really fast. They start up really fast on this, like way faster than on the Windows machine. Look at that. That's like insane. Now this is Apple Silicon and .NET 6 supports Apple Silicon, ARM architecture I should say. That may have something to do with it. Look, I'm gonna press play. It's gonna build a project. It's gonna open up the browser and run it. That's like at least 5 seconds or 6 seconds faster. Big difference. All right, we're done. There you go, folks. Those are your options. And I think we know who the winner is, don't we? Shh, don't say anything. You can leave a comment down below. We won't tell anybody. Now, if you stayed here this long, thank you so much for watching the rest of this video. For those of you that did stay, I will show the links to those repositories right now on the screen This is that solution that I was talking about, created using all the different frameworks that I've worked with. And also, I did promise that this is gonna be the biggest giveaway on this channel so far, and that's what we're gonna be doing. So, Progress, the sponsor of this video, agreed to give a license to their entire collection to one lucky person that's gonna be commenting down below. So leave a comment down below, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and the winner will be announced on Twitter. So do follow my Twitter channel, you'll find a link in the description. Thank you so much to Progress for sponsoring and for giving away a license to this valuable package. All right, folks, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.